Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk a little bit about route planning and one of the tools that I've been using to plan some camping trips. And I don't know, it's a little different. I'm normally a base camp guy, but I found that I like this little REVER app. So stick around, let's take a look. All right, so I wanted to plan a primitive camping trip to Big Bend National Park. And I started with the Big Bend National Park website, trying to find some spots. And I'm into the primitive thing. If I'm going to film some of this and do different things, I want to do a comparison on some camping and gear. I want to be able to film it without people looking at me like I've got a third eye. So I like the primitive stuff. $10 a night, man, can't beat it, right? So I started this website. It leads me to another spot that you find these primitive sites. All right, so those are great. So I jotted that information down, and then I went over here to Big Bend on Google Maps, and you can find some. You can find some of these. There's Roy's Peak. So, and then of course, if you click on them, we can get the Latin Longs, right? So I've always been a base camp guy, and I've used those Latin Longs to plug them into base camp and find my route. So that's what I was doing. And it was working pretty well. I mean, I like base camp. I've used it for a long time. I'm not the world's greatest, but it gets me what I need, and I'm comfortable with it. So while doing that, a friend of mine had reminded me about the REVER app, or REVER software, not just the app. So I got looking at REVER, and I was using the free version, and it did okay for me, but for a small fee, I think it's $50 a year or something, I went ahead and paid for the big version. And this is what you get. So it populates your name, makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. It always comes up where I live. So this is, I'll scroll out to show you, but this is San Antonio, Texas. All right. So what I want you to pay attention to are these points of interest. So this is pretty interesting. So here's San Antonio. These G1 roads, these are the best roads you can ride. The G2 are better, they're better than nothing. G3 is good roads, lost highways, paved mountain trails, and dirt roads. So if you click on those, you see some yellow populated. Those are supposed to be some of the best roads. Interesting. Then we throw in the red in there. Then we throw in the gold, or whatever you call it. So you can plan a route using their info. That's pretty good. So it is tied into Butler Maps, and I assume that's the same thing if you bought the Butler map for this area. So that stuff's kind of interesting. But remember, I'm going to Big Bend. So just for this video purpose, we're going to start in San Antonio. So you can see it pulls up San Antonio, Texas, right? Boom, there's kind of a starting point. The other thing that you can do is we'll hit this little X and get rid of our starting point. I could start it right from my house, but let me back up here. Zoomed in too far. So I live in this area. I'm going to go on this Potranco Road, and I'm going to hop on 1604. So I just zoom in, and in other routing software, I've known that you need to be on the right lane. Sometimes it wants you to do a U-turn because you put your waypoint on the wrong lane. So I zoom in nice and just left click, and there's my starting point. Now I know when I leave my house, I'm going to come right through there and hit the starting point. And I'll go over here and I'll just type in Big Bend National Park. There we go. And there's my route. And I've got to check into that ranger station, so that's perfectly fine. Now we'll zoom back out here and look at my route. Now I know it's taking me down 90, no big deal. But remember these points of interest. So let's click on the first one. Let's take a look at fuel stops on my way. It populated a bunch over here, didn't it? Give it a minute here. There's a couple in Sanderson, a couple in Alpine. So if I zoom in, Uncle's Convenience Store or Stripes. All right, that's interesting. So it tells you what it is. If we click on it, we just made that a waypoint. So we're going to stop at that Stripes and get fuel. And it looks like that's the last spot. All right, and it shows my trip at being 500 miles, 9 hours. All right, I haven't found, even in my little profile, that I could adjust the speed that I would be traveling, so I'm not sure what they use, if they have it locked into, TxDOT, or I don't know what they use to do their math, but they've got something. But what I found that was interesting in this is I went back to my points of interest. I clicked on the camping. Now, as soon as I click on camping, it took my fuel off. So apparently you can't have but one at a time, and that's okay. Well, now you see these numbers. Here's a 1, here's a 2, here's a 7, there's a 6. If you zoom in more, that's because there's 2 camping spots in that area. So we'll go down here to where I want it. Hover over this one, 9-point draw. That was one of the ones back on this list, 9-point draw. And then I think we go down a little bit, we'll find handle draw. Handle draw. And that's, again, on my list, handle draw. So that was kind of a game changer for me. Very easy, very simple. I don't have to go to one website and find the Latin longs, plug them into mine. I could use this. So this worked pretty good for me. I was okay with this. The saving it to a GPX file is very easy. Literally, you can drag a GPX file into this program if you've got one that you made somewhere else. But if that's what I'm going to do, I just hit continue. It pulls this up. We'll name it something. Dave's Test Ride. You can put a description. Big Bend Park. We could put the date. We could do all those things. So we hit save. Yeah, you can connect it to all those things. I'm not going to do that. I'm not sure if I try to email it to friends or something. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. I haven't played with that yet. So I'm going to just say maybe later. And there it pulls it up. So I can go down here and I can edit, I can delete it, whatever. But that's good. I've got my route made. So if I click out of that, so we're done, right? We come back to it later, and now I want to get that route. So I come back in this, because I do all my planning way before my route. So again, it pulls back up my starting point, right? It knows where I'm at. I go to my activities, and I scroll down to where it says planned. And here's all these rides that I have planned. And there's the Dave's Test Ride. So if I just click on download GPX, I want to track. And as you can see right here at the bottom, it's saving it. So I hit close, and now we can literally close that out. All right, so we've saved the route. If I go down here to my file, whoop, got a little click happy there. You can see it says, there's my BMW. All right, there's my nav6 showing up. So we can do this several ways. I can take this and I can click on it, drag it down here till it says BMW motor ad. Just let go of it. And it's there, right? So now I want to show you what this looks like, right? So we're gonna let that boot up. Yeah, we'll agree to all those things. If I go into my apps, go into tracks, there's Dave's Test Ride. Now, for me, go up here and I click on this wrench. I'm I'm gonna show it on the map, and I can set the color to, I don't know, we like red and do all those things, right? But I can also convert it to a trip. I want to go start to finish. Maybe you want to run it backwards. I don't know, a lot of things. So we'll give that a minute here to, it's going to struggle to find a signal, I'm sure. All right, it says saved my trip planner. So we'll go back. Go to trip planner. There it is, Dave's Test Ride. So their system works pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So there you have. I hope you found something useful out of this video. If you have, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. If you needed something different, if there's something I can help with, man, I certainly will. Again, get out there, enjoy yourself, and be safe. Thanks. Have a great day.